Hey guys, it's Amber. I wanted to get on today and tell you guys about my Tony and Guy horror story. I'm filming on my phone, so I don't have the ability to show you pictures and things, but I can describe it to you. Maybe one day I'll show you actual pictures of things that have happened to my hair. In light of me getting a new hairstyle, on the 12th of January, I figured I would film a video going over what I've learned about my hair as well as the horror story that is Toni and Guy. If you don't know what Toni and Guy is, it's a brand of hair care products. They have like Bedhead, Toni and Guy products. They're like a multifaceted group. They have a beauty hair school here locally. I live in Texas, North Texas, so like closer to Dallas. They do have a not cosmetology, but hair school. Here's kind of sort of close to where I am. But they have salons, they have hair care products, they have hair tools, they have all sorts of stuff. And you can find a lot of their products in salons as well as places like Target. I think even Walmart has started to carry Toni and Guy stuff. Whoops. Sorry, I dropped the phone. Anyway, so yeah, they've started to carry a lot of stuff. But now, I want to preface this with I have done practically everything to my hair. I've dyed it, I've cut it myself, I've destroyed my hair, I've buzzed my hair, I've started all over with virgin hair. There's not anything that you can do to your hair that's completely shocking to me or that I haven't already done to myself. Now, as far as color goes, I'm not as adventurous. I do like variety. I've had fire engine red in my hair with like dark brown. I've had blonde and black in my hair at the same time. Chunky highlights and lowlights together. I've had what you call broho hair, where it's black kind of framing your face and underneath, and then blonde on top. Which, by the way, I'm cheesy and I love that style. I've gone through practically everything, and there's a lot of things that I love. But here is my Toni and Guy horror story. Okay. So I've been seeing the same hairdresser for, I think I told you guys, the better part of 8 years. And she and I were pregnant at the same time at one point. She was pregnant with her youngest, I believe. So she was out on maternity leave. And this was at the point where I had blonde and the darkest brown, which almost looks black, in my hair. Highlights and lowlights. We're talking chunky, really pretty, but it was blended really nicely. It wasn't that typical you look up chunks, highlight chunks, and you see that girl with the huge streaks, but it was kind of like that. Well, anyway, so my hair looked blonde and black. It was total rock star hair. Loved it. My hair was longer. I loved it. It was about time for me to touch up my roots because, as you can tell, my hair is more of a medium ash brown. And when you have blonde and black in your hair and your brown starts to show through, it's kind of tacky. Well, rather than texting Lacey, my hair gal, and telling her that I needed to get my roots done, I knew she was on maternity leave and I didn't want to bother her. So what I did was I went to what I thought was a reputable Toni and Guy salon. I had seen some of the hairstylists around this area before. One of them had a really unique name. She was really pretty. I really loved her hair. So I thought, oh, okay, they know what they're doing over there. Let me go over there. Went over there. My hair was maybe about the same length, maybe even a little longer than it is now. And I had worked really hard to take good care of it while it was blonde and brown, because blonde is pretty damaging to your hair. Anyway, so I go in and I tell them I just need my roots touched up. Now, you would think that they would ask what colors you used on your hair before, especially if these people are trained professionals. And I say this because you can walk into any salon and ask them to color your hair, and they may be excellent at cutting your hair, but as far as coloring your hair, that's another story. Beauty school, they don't really teach you to dye hair. I'm going to shift a little bit because I'm kind of uncomfortable. Okay, so let me get comfortable for this. So and I'm sorry about the bad lighting. So in beauty school, they don't really teach you how to dye hair. That's something that you kind of have to take additional courses for, or you learn on the job. And it's kind of like in nursing school, or when you go to school to be a medical assistant, they teach you the basics and you just kind of learn as you go. Well, the reason that this is important is because at Toni&GUY, they have levels of colorists. They have certain levels that they have to get to. And you pay a certain amount of money to get a certain level colorist. And so when someone says, well, I have a level whatever colorist here who can do that for you, you have faith that they can actually do what you need done. Now, Lacey is fantastic, and I know I've said that before, but to be perfectly honest with you, she could run circles around these Toni&GUY people. I kid you not. She's just fantastic. And I'm not just kissing her butt because I've known her for so long. I mean, like, she can work miracles. My husband does not want me seeing anybody but Lacey, because every single time I've gone somewhere else, they've ruined my hair. So, continuing on with the story. So I'll go in and I tell these people I want my roots touched up. They don't ask me what colors that they used, or she used. They don't ask me, is this black, is this brown, is this whatever. She takes a look at my hair. She's like, oh, okay, sure. She starts to put my hair in the foils. And I sit there and I go through the whole process. She takes me over to the sink after I've been sitting there for a while, and she starts pulling the foils out. And I can tell, because I'm getting my hair washed, and so I'm looking up at this woman, and I can tell by the look on her face that something's wrong. Her eyes get really wide. She gets really quiet. Like, the whole time she was talking about, oh, I'm such a great colorist. I've gone to school for this. I've done this and this and this. The whole time, we're chatting. And for those of you who have had your hair professionally done, or even a haircut, use salon talk, or whatever while you're there. So we had been chit-chatting. She had talked to me about how she went to school for this and this and this. So I had a lot of faith in her, based off of the recommendation from the girl up front, as well as what this girl was telling me that she could do. She was like, oh, no problem. That's not a problem at all. Now, mind you, my hair was blonde, like super, super blonde, and the darkest brown together. Like, I had highlights and lowlights together. This is why it's so hard to maintain this. Normally, if you don't do this correctly, when you go to the rinse, when you rinse the hair out, when you moisturize, I keep calling it moisturize, when you condition the hair, because you have such a light blonde and such a dark brown together, if you don't do it correctly, you can make the brown bleed onto the blonde, and then it becomes a big muddy mess. You've got stains. It just doesn't look right. Well, that's not what happened with me. So I've got my head in this bowl, and she's doing her thing, and her eyes just keep getting wider, and she's all of a sudden not as chatty. I'm like, okay. So she puts my hair in the wrap, or the towel or whatever after, and we go sit down in the chair. She's like, I'll be right back. Walks away. She comes back with a guy who's, complimenting me, telling me thank you for coming in, and she starts blow drying my hair. Now, I'm sitting there and I'm looking in this mirror, and like I said before, I had blonde and darkest brown in my hair before. I have got a huge chunk right here. literally like a round chunk of blonde right here. How that happened, I don't know, because she put foils in my hair, so you would think that it would all be blonde, but I literally had a round chunk of blonde right here. And then the rest of my hair was literally greenish gray. The entire thing. I say greenish gray, it was more of like a bluish greenish gray. It was just disgusting looking. And this was all over. Not just, you know, now the parts that used to be darkest brown were darker than the blue green nightmare that was in my hair with the blonde. However, it didn't look good at all. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, oh my God, what did she do? She goes, oh my gosh, your hair's so pretty. It's very iridescent. And I'm thinking, iridescent from blonde and darkest brown. Now, I'm guessing that I should have told her that it was darkest brown, because what she did was she put a blue-based black in my hair. Now, for someone who went to school for all these extra courses and all these points and all this blah, 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 to be a colorist, you would think, now my roots were not grown out that bad. You should be able to look and tell, you should be able to look and tell that my hair is not blue-black. I assumed that with her credentials and with as much as they were talking her up, that she would know the difference. I sat there kind of quietly and I let her dry it. She didn't even finish drying it. It was kind of half dry. And she was like, okay, I'm done. And this is how much it is. And so I get up to the front and they tell me how much my bill is. Now, granted, I'm a lot nicer than a lot of people give me credit for, so I literally paid, and I tipped the girl. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I was by myself, and again, as I've said before, I have social anxiety issues, so I would rather just not make a big deal out of it right away. I didn't realize exactly how bad it was, because, you know, in this lighting, everything's bright, and you can't really tell. I got in the car, and my husband said, what the heck did they do to your head? And so I start taking pictures all over my hair, and I realized how destroyed this is. Now, mind you, my hair was longer than it is now. So, and this took probably 3 or 4 years to grow out. My hair grows fast, but it takes a long time for it to get longer just because it is so thick and it's so dry. So I had taken a lot of pride in, and I'm sorry, I keep playing with my hair. I had taken a lot of pride in my hair. I was really just loving that hair color, hairstyle, whatever. So when I saw the amount of damage that was done, I cried. I went home and I started taking pictures. And in these pictures that I wish that I had for you guys, you could tell just how pissed I was. I waited until the next day. I called the manager. Or actually, no, I didn't even call. I called to see if the manager was going to be there. Or when the manager was going to be there. And so, rather than explaining over the phone what's going on, I walked in with my blonde patch right here and the rest of my hair this bluish, greenish, grayish color. And I asked for the manager. She walked up. She said, I know the situation. She said, I know exactly what has happened, and I would like to apologize. She said, I'm going to give you your money back. No questions asked. And I said, well, not only are you going to give me my money back, you are going to have somebody fix my hair. I said my hair was perfect when I came in here. I said, now it's completely ruined, and I'm not paying anyone else to fix this damage that was done. I said my hair was not this color when I walked in. It's not going to be this color when I walk out. as politely as I could. I was like, this is not acceptable. I said I didn't make a huge deal out of it. The girl was clearly embarrassed. I said I tipped her. I paid. I didn't make a huge deal out of it. I said, and I appreciate you giving me my money back. However, I need someone to fix it. She looked at me square in my eyes and said, it will be $40 to do an all-over color on your hair. I looked at her and I said, no, ma'am, it will not. I said, I've already explained to you that my hair didn't look like this. And I pulled up the picture that I had taken before of what my hair looked like. And then the picture that I had taken the night before. I said, this is what my hair looked like before I walked into your salon. And this is the hair that I walked out with. I said, I am not paying for someone to fix this. I said, you are going to have somebody do something here in your salon to fix it because your salon was what ruined it. And literally the only thing that they could do to fix it at that point, because it was so just crazy, was to put a flat black on it. So I sat there and I cried the whole time because I loved, mainly my favorite part was the blonde. I loved the blonde in my hair and it was gone. And there was no way, without completely just frying my hair off, there was no way that I was going to get that back. So I let them dye it flat black. They didn't charge me. They gave me my money back. But they made me sign this waiver that the reason that my hair did what it did was because it was dry and damaged. Never in my life have I ever heard of someone's hair turning green, blue, gray because it's dry and damaged when they put a blue black on top of blonde. But I didn't argue. I was like, okay, whatever. I signed the paper. I got my hair fixed. I cried. I saw Lacey as soon as I could after she came back from maternity leave. And bless her heart, the saint was like, oh my God, you should have messaged me. I would have come in and done your hair. And I said, I wasn't going to make you do that. You know, you were on maternity leave. I thought surely with Toni&GUY being this big conglomerate and bragging about their expert colorists, that somebody in there would know what the hell they were doing. So yeah, I ended up being able to strip a lot of the color out of my hair, because complete flat black makes me look completely washed out. So that didn't last very long. I left it in there for probably a month or two, and then I started using the chewable vitamin C tablets. I would crush them up and put them in my shampoo and in my conditioner, as well as using baby shampoo because that's an excellent color stripper without damaging your hair. So I started doing that for a couple of more months, and it pulled most of that black out. So I was able to do something with it. So it was at least it was like brown and darker brown. But it took a good 6 months before my hair was even remotely ready to do something else to it. And yeah, needless to say, I don't trust Toni&GUY. I don't trust all their credentials with all their colorists. And I don't like the fact that they try to put the blame on the customer rather than accepting the fact that, yes, your colorist put a completely different color on my hair than what I had before, and it ruined it because she did not know what she was doing. She should have told me, I can't do this for you, when I came in, and I would have waited. But that was my impatience. You know, I wanted my hair done right then. And over the years, I've learned more patience. I've learned how to just kind of, if your girl can't do it, wait until she can, kind of thing. I've got a couple more horror stories about people giving me terrible haircuts and such. But that's for another day. But that is my Toni&GUY horror story. I do not recommend Toni&GUY. Now, for haircuts, maybe. I've never gotten my hair cut by Toni&GUY person, so I can't really speak on, or no, I take that back. I had one that was going through school, at the time. She did a really good job on my hair, but that was when she was going through school. I have never had like an actual hairdresser from Toni&GUY cut my hair, and I never will. I will never set foot back in a Toni&GUY. I love their hair products, but that's about it. So that's my horror story. If you guys have any horror stories similar to that, or, you know, any kind of horror stories like that, share them with me and let me know. Let's talk about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.